Hey guys, and welcome back to another Factorio Friday Facts discussion. I'm joined by Scarhoof again.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're talking about Christmas Avalanche. So this one is actually pretty short, very much a summary of things, I would say. So it's going to be pretty quick.
Yes,
Essentially,
so I can go see Star Wars.
yeah, you're going to go see Star Wars. I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to go see it, but we'll have to discuss that at a future point. There's some stuff that's set me off a little bit. um, anyway, so as expected, they've been very busy with all the stuff, bug reports and stuff. But they do say it wasn't as bad as they expected. They released 16.7 yesterday, and this will probably be the last update for a while. Because they're doing all the festivities and enjoying Christmas as they should be. So transport belt compression update. Regarding the belt compression discussion opened in the last Friday Facts, we're considering an option where side loading inserters will compress belts natively. We will make a branch with it to test how it works, and we'll let you know our decision. This is good news.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm happy.
Yes, that would be wonderful if both of those, or even one of those, allowed belt compression. That would be really, really nice. So hopefully they decide to allow at least one, if not both, to be a thing. Moving on, Fluid Wagon update. So essentially, they've just taken out the ability to separate your fluid wagons. If you didn't know, the fluid tanker or wagon, whatever you want to call it, had 3 separate tanks, visually, and it still does. But until just now, you could actually have those 3 tanks be separate, so you could carry 3 different liquids like on the same wagon. And they've completely removed this ability, and there was a lot of people upset. Like, since they did this,
Oh, yes.
I have seen so many posts, so many links to posts in the Discord of people ranting. I've seen people ranting in the Discord, and I don't blame them. I mean, I wasn't happy about it. I'm not like super pissed or anything, but I mean, what are your thoughts?
I have used this a couple times, but I can adapt. I was a little upset initially, but then I was like, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we still have fluid tankers. I mean,
Yeah.
just the fact that we have them, and 95% of the time I'm using the full wagon anyway. So the couple times that I had like very unique builds where I actually had those in there, it was cool, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. It's a feature that's gone, but it's not like they took out the fluid wagon itself or something. Essentially, their arguments for getting rid of it is just that you didn't really need separation necessarily, and it was somewhat too big, which means the fluid trains have to move around very sporadically compared to the trains with items. It was solving a problem that is a quite trivial solution where you could just use multiple fluid wagons anyway. And we won't have to keep the code alive. We won't have to update the UI of it in the upcoming GUI update and fix bugs related to it. This argument is the smallest, but is also here as everything has a cost, and it is about priorities. So yeah.
Now, the thing that does bug me about this is the fact that they're considering lowering the fluid capacity. That part does bother me a little bit.
Did they actually say?
Well, they said that making the fluid wagon capacity smaller, parenthesis, we haven't done it yet. So that tells me that they're at least considering it. So we'll see. Okay. I don't know. Anything to help with congestion on the train network, I think is a good thing. I was really happy when they moved from 30 to 40 slots in the train wagons.
Yeah.
Was it? Or was it 20 to 40? It was whatever it was. It was a nice jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So personally, I want more capacity in my trains, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. And just the last touch on this point, I think a lot of what people were upset about with this is not necessarily the fact that they won't be able to separate any longer, but the fact that the devs just removed a feature instead of fixing the bug that was actually causing an issue. Like,
right.
I think that's what a lot of people have the issue with, is instead of fixing the bug, and of course there will be future bugs, so I understand why they did it, but people are upset because they decided to just like remove the whole feature instead of fixing the feature,
or even trying to fix it.
Yeah, or even trying. They just looked at it and were like, well, we don't want to mess with this, so let's just get rid of the whole feature.
Yeah. Now, I will say in their defense, though, that I have found in previous things, like in my writing or something like that, I will find someone will point something out to me, and I'll be like, and for the longest time, I've not known whether I really wanted that feature in any way, so I left it in just to kind of see what people's reactions were. And then when someone came back and said, "I'm not really happy about this," I'd be like, "You know what? I completely agree," and it just helped. Their comment helped me make up my mind.
Yeah.
And so I just axed the entire scene or a character or something like that. So if they were already not liking it to begin with, and then this came in, it could have been the straw that broke the camel's back kind of a thing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I understand it, for sure. So then the requester chest update, to summarize this whole thing, that requesters now have, or will soon, have priority over the buffer chests. Or I think previously they did not, as was mentioned, I think last Friday facts. So they're changing that. And then a little optimization Kovarex did. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they should perform a bit better, hopefully, now the requesters as well. And then at the bottom here, this part's interesting. They also feel that we should add two things to logistics system as 016, a checkbox in the requester chest that would allow the player to specify whether it should or shouldn't take from buffer chests. As even with priorities, it might be annoying if robots took all this stuff from buffer stations to requesters just because the supply train is going to arrive 10 seconds late. So the buffer chest would be supplied again soon. I would even say that the option might be not to take things from the buffer chest by default. And then the other one is a filter for storage chests. Buffer chests somewhat help to store storage. It doesn't really replace the need for storage chests. To have a single filter for the whole storage chest, this would allow it to be reserved for something specific, which would solve a lot of different problems. And I'm totally in favor of both those changes for sure.
Yeah. I love filters on everything. I think every inventory slot in the game should be filterable.
Yep. Totally agree.
Just have that option.
Yep. And we're getting close. You can now filter your main inventory, which is cool.
Yep. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. I'm sure you're thrilled about that.
I've been wanting that feature for a long time.
Yeah. And then 3 major train problems solved. They fixed some bugs. Thanks to the user Arga, there were 3 important bugs that related to trains. Essentially, a train decelerating to a stop in a station created a large penalty on the path it went through. So this would cause very crazy and huge paths other trains to do just to avoid it. Especially annoying as a penalty was easily enough to force trains to go through different stations that has a penalty of 2,000, which would cause traffic jams on a lot of systems. So better train pathing essentially is what I gather from this. And then the train penalty of 2,000 to avoid trains going through stops not on its own path was applied to the destination stop before actually reaching it. This caused the train pathfinder to potentially search a huge amount of paths while a destination stop was just ahead of it. It was just a potential performance problem, but as you probably noticed, we need to care about performance to make sense. And then the last bug they show here is that this top train arrives later because there's no rail signal just in front of the station, whereas there is one on the bottom one. I guess it's related to a hacky solution hacky solution to a problem with extremely fast trains 3 years ago, and it basically caused trains to start slowing down for a station 2 times sooner in many cases. All these problems are now fixed in 16.7, which is
I gotta say, what monster puts a signal right before a station?
Good question.
I can never think of a situation where I would have put it right before. Obviously, right after I would put them, but the train's going to be split between 2 blocks now. So I don't know how that would have ever gotten put there to even discover that this bug was a problem. But kudos to whoever discovered it.
Let's ask Reddit. I'm sure someone on there did it. But seriously, it is interesting. I doubt hardly anybody actually does that. And then lastly, the Steam Awards. So Factorio got nominated in the Steam Awards for Haunts My Dreams category, which is pretty awesome. It's a nice mark of recognition. The other nominees are, pretty huge games. I think CSGO was in there. I don't remember what the others were, but they were really huge name games.
Yeah.
So it's most likely one of these will win. Still, it's nice to be included with the big kids. So voting for this category opens the 29th of December, which I believe is like next Friday or something, or Thursday.
Yeah, something like that.
for 24 hours only. So if you're interested in voting for one of the entries, be sure you can get it to a PC on that day. So definitely vote for Factorio if you're able to. And that's pretty much Friday Facts.
Yep, short and sweet.
Short and sweet, but hey, I mean, we lost a feature, but not that big a deal, really. I don't think. We gained some optimization with the requester chest. Some train stuff was fixed and potentially optimized. Good news.
Yep.
All right, I think that's going to do it. You have anything else to say?
Nope, I'm going to go watch Star Wars.
Yeah. Keep rubbing it in. All right, well, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your thoughts down below, and until next time, we will catch you.